This is a satellite image of Parang, Indonesia in 2004. This is that same place in 2008. What happened in between those two photos wasn't an earthquake or a typhoon. It was one of the most mysterious natural disasters in memory. And actually, it might not have been natural at all. On May 29, 2006, vast quantities of mud began bubbling up out of a gas and oil field in Parang. The flow blossomed into a full-on mud volcano, which is actually a scientific term. It might not sound as scary as a volcano spewing lava, but the mud spread quickly and disastrously, completely overwhelming 12 separate villages in the area and displacing tens of thousands of people. Now, there are a few very important things to say about this event, which is called the Lapindo Mud Flow, or LUCI for short. Firstly, it's the largest mud volcano in the world. At its peak output, LUCI exuded 180,000 cubic meters of mud every day, which is enough to fill about 75 Olympic swimming pools. Secondly, it's still very much active, almost 10 years after the first eruption. No one knows how long the mud will keep flowing, but many experts predict another 2 decades worth. Faced with that prognosis, locals in the area are doing their best to live alongside LUCI. They've built levees to keep the mud out of populated areas, and with few other industries available for work, some have turned to a form of tourism. It's not huge business, but lots of Indonesians are curious to see firsthand what they'd heard about in the media.
I had watched a lot of the news on television, but I didn't expect that seeing it with my own eyes could give such a different impression, as I imagine about 13 villages underneath the mud, and it's still bursting. If this is called tourism, I suppose this is tragic tourism.
There's one other thing about the LUCI disaster that still has people up in arms. No one's quite sure whether people are to blame for it. 2 days before the eruption, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck the region, and initially, experts believed that to be the trigger for the mud flow. But other studies have since argued that the blame lies with the oil and gas drilling at the site of the eruption. Courts in Indonesia have ruled that the gas company, Lapindo Brantas, was not at fault, though the company has still paid out millions in compensation to the community. They've also tried and failed to plug up the mud flow. One exasperated engineer described the volcano as being simply impossible to kill. Today, 9 years later, the mud is still flowing. The people of Parang haven't forgotten the loss of their villages, nor the possible involvement of Lapindo Brantas. They've staged some protests and commemorations at the site of the accident, and they've erected some permanent art installations there too. One represents those displaced by the mud, and another, more pointedly, features an effigy of the mining company's owner, alongside a stone tomb bearing the words, "Let this nation not forget." Hey everyone, if you're looking for more Seeker stories, check out this next episode about a town in Russia that the government kept hidden from the world for years. It's been more than 2 decades since the Soviet era ended. Russia and its people have moved on, well, except for towns like this.
Zarechny, its former name was Penza 19.
And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.